Now, back to WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro.
NHRA Nitro podcast, WFO Radio. Joe Costello here, and hopefully everybody has loved the 2019 NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series season. The Auto Club Finals, what a race it was, and we are catching up with the race winners from the Auto Club Finals, and it is just like a big download of information at the end of the year. We got Thanksgiving coming up, all kinds of great stuff. Maybe it is beyond Thanksgiving. You are listening to this show. Who knows? Listen on your own time to everything that WFO puts out, because we are going to catch up with all the champs, and we encourage you to hit subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have our own free mobile application. You can certainly get it. Jianna Salinas is going to join us on this show, and we're going to catch up with Jianna. What a year she had. Obviously, the family diving into NHRA drag racing. Mike Salinas picking up his first win out there in Top Fuel has been on the show a couple of times, but Jianna selecting Pro Stock Motorcycle as the class she wants to get involved in. And I was like, my goodness, that sounds pretty tough. And what a year she had. Obviously took a tumble out there in Chicago, but bounced right back. And at the Auto Club Finals was right in the middle of the championship battle, beating Andrew Hines first round on his red light, and then taking out Matt Smith and Steve Johnson and Jerry Savoy to win the race. Now, they all had problems, but it is one of those things where that doesn't matter. She won the race and's got a Wally to prove it. We're going to catch up with Jianna just seconds from now, and I think you're really going to love her. She's going to have a lot of fans in the years to come. But first, got to tell you the people who make it all possible really quickly. People like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. Total Seal, from Formula One to Stock Eliminator to your car, whatever it is, they are the leaders in ring seal technology. Make great tools as well. TotalSeal.com. Also, MagicDryUS.com, the official organic absorbent of the NHRA. They have spill kits. You can order it at the website, MagicDryUS.com. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. I know everybody is out there Black Friday battling the mall. Black Friday's not even a thing anymore because everybody's buying online or just calling Frank Hawley and ordering up the Dragster Adventure for the drag racing fan speed demon in your life, FrankHawley.com. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. You know, if you are thinking about what you're going to do with your life, blockheads, CNC programs, becoming a machinist, working in engine shops, maybe become a CNC machinist or learn about fuel injection. They do all of these things at samtech.edu. Check them out. That is samtech.edu. And finally, RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Marvin Rodak, hot sauces and spice rubs. Just everything good, but it's a pound of coffee roasted fresh per your order. Now, you can buy a lot more than a pound if you want, but that's what I sent to a lot of people out there, the Rodax Holiday Pack. Pound of coffee, roasted fresh per your order, drag racing themed blends, so your friend is going to love it, and a bottle of hot sauce and a container of spice rub, all right there in Texas. Award-winning, great stuff. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. And thank you for letting me tell you about our great sponsors. Maybe somebody can help you out. All right, let's get into it. Joining us now, a first-time winner in Mellow Yellow Pro Stock Motorcycles. She got her win on the most unbelievable of days, taking down Andrew Hines, Steve Johnson, Matt Smith, and Jerry Savoy en route to victory. Jianna Salinas. Jianna, welcome to WFO Radio Podcast. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, we have spoken with your father, earlier this year. First time win. Now there are 2 Wally trophies in the Salinas family. That is pretty cool. Did you think you were going to get your first win this season?
Definitely not. I'm still trying to process it. I think I'm still in shock. I wake up in the morning and I look at the Wally. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's actually here. But I did not think that this would happen anytime in the beginning of my season at all.
Well, you have said that you took on the Pro Stock Motorcycle Challenge because you perceived it to be the hardest of the challenges, right? I really respect that. So as you look back, how hard is this? How hard is this compared to other things you have done in your life? You've ridden motorcycles, but you're not like a motorcycle drag racer to this point. So try to, give us the lowdown on this challenge you undertook.
I mean, It's so difficult. I had pretty much zero experience coming into this, and before this, the only thing that I'd ever raced before were junior dragsters, and my sisters and I only did that for about maybe 2 years. So my experience in drag racing altogether was very, very slim. But I mean, like I said, this class just seemed like the most difficult class, and I like a challenge, and this has definitely been a challenge. Just I've learned so much this season, and this class is just insane. Just to become one of the great riders out there, you have to take so much, put so much effort into it, and that's something I have a huge journey ahead of me just to be able to get there.
One thing that I think is interesting and I respect is that you said flat out that, it was your day, right? Like every race, there's going to be a winner. And some days that winner is going to leave first and outrun all their competition and dominate the opponent. And some days it's going to be a combination of the two. This is a day where you kept staging up your bike, going down the racetrack, and taking the win light. And, something would happen in the other lane, whether it be a red light for Andrew or otherwise. And those wins count just as much. But that's not lost on you. You have been flat out, you said, today was my day for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, not a single run that I made that day was a beautiful, extravagant run. And everybody knows that every other person that lined up against me was more than capable of taking me out. And my chances of even winning first round were unbelievably slim. But, that's drag racing. Sometimes all it takes is for you to just go out there, race your race, and make it down the track.
Absolutely. And clearly, that's what went down here in this case. Now, the Andrew Hines red light, okay, he backed out. And now there's a bounty on him, and Matt Smith is delivering money, and Steve Johnson's had a really good bike. He breaks. At what point did you start feeling like, boy, something weird is going on today?
About second round. I've never really won anything in my life. So just the fact that I made it past first round, and then after second round, I started getting a little nervous. I was like, this doesn't seem right. What's happening here? I mean, these bikes, these riders are amazing riders. Why am I winning? And I tried to never get too confident or overexcited about anything. So I just told myself, whatever happens, just going to go out there and race my race. And it worked.
It worked. Well, that is words to live by for all the young racers out there. Race your race, and whatever happens will happen. I was on the starting line when you got around Matt Smith, and Karen Stouffer, who was getting ready to run Jerry, ultimately went red, but by fourth thou. But if memory serves me correct, she was fired up. Like she and Gary, you had a lot of really quality people behind you and in your lane, so to speak, with this whole project. And to see how excited she got to go to the final round, or to see you go to the final round, that was really special to see. Talk a little bit about the people who have helped get you to this point. It's obviously a challenge, right? Like here comes a young lady with big desire, but not a lot of experience. They had to start you off with enough skills to get down the racetrack.
Yes, I mean, Karen, Gary, Mr. Underdahl, they're crazy for taking me on. I mean, I had zero experience, and they took on this huge challenge. And, a lot of people have said, well, it's because I'm paying them to do this. And it's not. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, they are getting paid, but there have been a bunch of times where they could have walked away and they could have told me that they didn't want to work with me anymore. And they have stayed by my side this whole time, and they've given me a huge amount of support through my good days and my bad days. And, anytime I make a mistake or, do something really great, it's a big celebration for us. And a lot of people laugh when there'll be videos where I make like a clean, solid run and we're celebrating on the line, and everybody's saying that, oh, wow, it looks like they just won a race. And for us, it's a big celebration because from me, where I came from, I had no experience. So this class is so difficult, just to be able to get the bike down the track and to make those small little progresses. It's good. It's good for me, and it's good for the team. And that's something we have to celebrate. We have to celebrate the small wins when we can.
Oh, yeah. There's so many negatives in the sport. This is a sport for people who are masochistic, right? Like brutal lessons being learned at all times. So you must celebrate the victory. So let's talk about the final round. If Jerry wins, he's the champ. If you win, Andrew's the champ. Before we get into his bike not running well, the championship, did you have any kind of stake? Obviously Karen rides for Jerry, so maybe there's that connection. But I don't know. What are your relationships with all these people when you got Matt, you got Andrew, you got Jerry, you got all these different championship implications going on around you?
I'll be honest, it was actually pretty difficult. I've always been a very empathetic human being, so I felt terrible after round one. Actually, after I won, just seeing Andrew roll his bike, I just felt really bad. So I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like I had taken something from him, and it felt like that after every single round. And it's been difficult for me to, go out there and say that I need to do this for me. And that's what it kind of came down to in the final. I mean, I love Jerry. I mean, I love Andrew too, but I mean, like you said, Karen does race for Jerry, and it would have been great to see Jerry win that race, but that's not something I can think about, because at the end of the day, I'm here to race my race and do what's best for me. So I just had to not think about the championship and just think about my opportunity. And I had an opportunity there to win that race, and I had to take it.
So he launches off the line, the bike stalls. Now you're going down the racetrack, and still relatively new, just making runs, hanging off a motorcycle. Honestly, Jianna, I don't know how you do it. I've run a bracket car. I've gone pretty quick. I've got a 7-second ET slip and a dragster and all. The idea that you're climbing on this thing, going 7.0s, 690s, and in your first year of doing it is amazing. So now you're going down the racetrack. Your opponent is maybe broke. Maybe you don't know what's up with him, but you got to get it down through there. And it was not not an easy run. You had to wrestle that thing.
Yes, it was definitely, that was probably the worst run I'd made all day. Not exactly sure why it shot so hard to the right, but I had no idea what was going on in Jerry's lane. I wasn't sure if I'd cut a light on him, if, he was having trouble down low. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to pass me. He's still there. And no matter what, in my mind, I was I can't give this run up. But of course, I mean, at the same time, I still have, images of Chicago going through my head. So I know when I need to lift, but at that time, I knew that I would be able to wrestle the bike back. Did I do it in the best way possible and the correct way? No, I can admit that. But when you're in that final round and when you see that opportunity, it's very difficult for you to, lift or when I have that chance, I knew that it was there. So it was okay. But like I said, it was a very ugly run, and I don't want to make another one like that again.
Yeah, but, in the end, though, of course you would like to make a better run, but who cares? You won the race. When light comes on, and the reality, seeing your family on the starting line, everybody going crazy, the entertainment value of the day of racing that we had with the championships on the line and just all the different storylines in all the categories, whether it be Greg Anderson versus Erica first round or what's going on with Top Fuel World Championship. All this was like a fan favorite story. People are going to remember that. So your win light is on. You turn the corner. You're a race winner in the NHRA. What was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was so overwhelming. Like I said, I'd never really won anything in my life, and I've never really been that amazing at sports. I was always okay, and I was always average. And that's not to say that I'm amazing at this sport either, but to be able to have that success so early in my career in this, it was just so overwhelming because I know how difficult it is. And I know that there's racers out here that are way more qualified who have deserved this and who have not been able to make it, unfortunately, to that final round. And you start to ask yourself, why me? What did I do to deserve this? And all of that just goes back to my crew and the fact that it was my day. But it was just so overwhelming. I'm still extremely overwhelmed by it. But it was great to see the safety safari down there. They were actually the ones who let me know that I won because I didn't see my light. I didn't see anything. And they were at the end of the track waving their flags in the air, clapping. So it was, I felt like I was in a little parade. It was awesome.
Wow, that is fantastic. You know, I love it. That's why I love speaking with first-time winners, and it's a rare thing in pro stock motorcycle. Lewis Bloom came in and poked his head in, and you know, the first-time winner, like something like your first-time winner since Jerry Savoy or something, crazy stat. Just amazing to see you do it. Now, you did mention Chicago, though. I was there for that horrific nightmare of a moment. But you earned a lot of, you know, I don't know if the word is respect or maybe we think you're like a superhuman, but the fact that you were able to just, you know, like stand up and be angry after that moment, that was amazing. But really what you learned in that moment, you talked about it after the race. And I think it's a very valuable lesson that a lot of people could probably benefit from hearing you talk about. What was it that you really learned this season that was the most valuable?
Mainly just to not give up. When that crash happened, it was physically, of course, it hurt. You know, I was bruised for a couple weeks. But the emotional side of it and the mental side of it was so difficult for me to deal with. Because in that moment, you get up and you look at your bike and your mind is racing, your adrenaline's going, and everything that anybody has ever said about you that is negative, in that moment, all of it has come true. And you start to question your own abilities, and you start to question whether or not you deserve to be there, whether or not you have the skill to be there. And it's something you have to work through. You have to, you know, dig deep and find the strength to continue. And I knew that I wanted to continue, but I definitely got a lot of negative feedback, and I still actually get a lot of negative feedback, unfortunately. But a lot of that goes back to, you know, being strong, being mentally strong, knowing that you can do this, and listening to the people around you, because those are the people that are going to tell you the truth and are going to tell you that, you know, you aren't making a mistake and that you are capable of doing this. And it's hard. I'll be very honest. I'm just starting to feel a lot more comfortable mentally and physically on the bike. But you know, every once in a while, there's still that doubt, and it's that negative voice in your head that you as a racer have to be able to overcome and not listen to. And that's what makes you a strong racer. Absolutely.
So, you know, we've been talking about it a lot on this week's show, you know, with what happened with Steve and Cam Ferret, and, you know, the people out there who sit home and post negative stuff, right? Like, regardless of who it's for or against, they're sitting at home and they're typing into their keyboard something negative and putting it out for the world to see. You know, it's a little surprising that you get a lot of that. I mean, I guess, you know, what there are some people, but I didn't really understand that you had gotten barraged by that.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's unfortunate that somebody's willing to take time out of their day to, you know, make someone feel terrible about themselves. But at the same time, you know, everybody has their own opinion and everybody has a right to their own opinion. But at the end of the day, I have the choice on how I want to react to that. So I can either listen to them and believe them, or, you know, just take it with a grain of salt, acknowledge it, and just move on. Because the people I care about, you know, they're not going to go and say things like that to me. And if they do, they're not going to say it in that negative of a way, obviously. It's going to be in more of a constructive way.
Right.
So it just really comes down to choosing your battles. And most of the time, it's not a battle I want to waste my time with. Because like I said in my my Walk 1,000 Feet with Amanda, if somebody's willing to go out of their day to say something negative about another person, it's more of a reflection on their character than it is on mine.
So true. So true. All right. So this is an interesting opportunity for us all in that, your dad is a pretty special character, right? And so is your mom. And we've spoken with your dad, Mike, a couple of times this year, and he has laid out his story and, his tough, like the way he came up in life and how he's become hardworking and successful, and has given his perspective, like his mind's eye view of, his family and how you guys had a big meeting and you talked about coming into drag racing and how he loved drag racing. He told us on this show he used to sell programs, and as a boy in California, just dreaming of being involved, and, went to work, and now his family is involved. I'd love to hear your side of that story. Like, my dad's coming to they want to go drag racing. Like, what was your version of his story of the family coming together to have this discussion? Like, should we as a family get involved in this very challenging, expensive, some would say dangerous sport? It's going to take up all of our time. We're going to have to travel around the country. Are we all doing it? Do we agree? Do we not agree? Like, I'd like to hear your side of that story because it's so interesting.
I mean, I don't really even think that we've had time to process it. Everything has just happened so fast within the past couple of years. I mean, I still remember going from Bakersfield and, spending our weekends there. And then all of a sudden, Michael saying, I want to go faster. And if anybody knows Michael, when he says he's going to do something, it's going to happen no matter what. And that's something I've known from such a young age, but to actually see it happen and to see what he's been able to create is just amazing over the time. But it's crazy to think that where we are as a family now in drag racing, Jasmine's here, I'm here, Michael's here. And the fact that we're able to do this together as a family is so important because, I mean, that's how we grew up. We grew up at the races. I remember going to Sonoma and getting autographs from Ashley Force and just being amazed by the families and sitting in the bleachers and just loving every part of drag racing. And now to be on the other side of it is just so amazing. It's difficult for me to wrap my head around because, I mean, it hasn't been that long. It's been a couple years. I mean, 10 years maybe. And we used to be on the other side. And now we're the ones racing. We're the ones that people are coming to watch. And it's very humbling to be able to have this opportunity to not just do this as a family, but to do this as individuals. Not that many people have this opportunity, and which is why it's so important to, make time for our fans and make time and make them feel that they are important because they are, because drag racing wouldn't be here without them.
Oh, so true. And on that note, that's interesting to hear you say that. I like hearing you call your dad Michael, by the way. Michael.
Yes.
Should I be calling him Michael? I call him Mike. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, but No,
you're good.
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to switch it up to Michael every once in a while just for fun. But what is your sense of the sport in general? It's 22 years old. Okay, we need you, people your age, to like this sport. If this sport is going to grow and become bigger and more successful, I would say it's very successful now. It's drag racing. It's not the NFL. But we could stand to grow and get the attention of more people that are in your demographic. So as someone who is in your demographic, like, what do you think about what you're seeing and about what's happening and about the way the sport is going? And what do you hear from your friends about your involvement? And give me that side of it, because I'm always looking to learn different perspectives on what we're doing.
I mean, I think this sport's amazing. But like anything, there's always room to grow. There's always room to improve. But what I love so much about this sport is that anybody can do it. I was talking to one of my friends and they were amazed by the fact that I race with men and I race with people who are older than me. They just could not wrap their head around it. And they were so confused, because most sports you compete by age category, gender category. And I was like, no, we all race together. And they were just amazed. I was like, yeah, it's crazy. You get to have people from all walks of life, all ethnicities, different gender. And it's amazing that we're all able to come together regardless of our backgrounds and compete in something that we all are passionate about. But let's be real here. I mean, unless you've grown up with drag racing, people my age really don't know what it is.
Right.
So anytime I try to see younger people at the races, I get really excited. And it's a lot about, trying to bring more awareness to the sport, trying to get more people into it. And I think it helps having younger people in the sport. I mean, it's great that we have Cameron, Austin, my sister Jasmine. And it's not just only in the pro ranks. I think in the sportsmen as well, there's so many young people, and that's such a great stepping stone for them to become in the pro categories. I think as a whole, we should not just recognize pro, but I think we should recognize all sportsmen racers that are younger too, because that's the future of this racing. I mean, I'm the youngest person, 22 I believe I'm the youngest actually in the pro classes. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I need people my age out there. I want to make some younger friends my age. I hang out with everybody that's, 2-3 times my age. And if we're able to find ways to interest people my age, I think it'll be so much better for the sport in the long run.
I get it. You hate the old people.
No. They're very fun, very fun. But, it's life. I mean, eventually they're going to get older. They're going to leave. Eventually I'm going to get older. I'm going to leave as well. And we have to be able to find ways to secure the next generations for the sports.
So well put. No, I was kidding there. I know you don't hate old people. There's too many of them out there. And I'm getting to be one of them. Are you kidding me? We're all getting there. But that's great perspective, and I agree completely. And that is our great challenge. It's like, how do we get this next wave of fans? And the Junior Dragster program is great, and having young faces out there, but we got to reach out en masse. And I love your point about age diversity. I actually wrote a National Dragster column earlier this year. I think it's the only sport, right, where like older people can race against a 22-year-old girl, and you guys are just staging it up, and we're going to find out who's better. I can't think of other sports, maybe bowling. I don't know. Jianna, congratulations on your season. It has been a lot of fun watching you go through this process from start of season to end of season. I don't think you could have finished up in a better, more exciting fashion. It's a great challenge, honestly. When you first took this upon yourself, I've never ridden a pro stock motorcycle, but, I've driven some fast cars, and I know it's challenging, and I just could not wrap my mind around the significance of the challenge you've undertaken. It took a lot of courage to go out there and do that, and to see you doing it is inspiring. Like, wow, man, this, you're getting there. To get around on the track, 4 times on Sunday, period, is a big challenge. You did a great job. What about 2020? What are your plans? You going to be back doing the same thing again, second full season, or is there anything? I know you got the new True Disruption sponsorship on board. Is there anything else going for 2020?
Definitely the True Disruption. I'm very, very thankful and very blessed that True Disruption will be joining again next year. We will be representing them. I will be running with Gary and Greg Underdahl again. Not 100% sure how the team will look as a whole, but as of right now, we are set to run the 16 races, which I'm very excited for. I love them. They're like my family. They are my family, actually. They've become a new family for me. So I'm very blessed to be able to come back and work with them again next year.
Super exciting. Super exciting. Any thoughts of ever driving a 4-wheel craft down the track? I know Jasmine's down, everyone's down. You're doing this. This is great. Just wondering if that's something you would like to try.
I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm not opposed to it. But as of right now, I'm in love with the bikes, just everything about them. I love that I'm not strapped in. I love that it's I feel extremely centered on the bikes. And when I sit in a dragster, I get a little nervous. It's just a little something about being strapped in kind of freaks me out. But I don't know, that may eventually change. But as of right now, it's the bikes.
Got it. No, listen, I understand that. And there are people that's why we got so many different styles of racecraft out there, because there's something for everybody. We put that funny car body down over some people freak out too. So I get it completely.
Yes.
Gianna, congratulations. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, by the way. Please forward that along. They've been very nice.
Thank you very much. You as well.
Your mom has been so cool out there overseeing all you girls and watching it all go down. Congratulations on your first win. This is a big deal, and thank you for coming on the WFO Radio podcast to share your behind the scenes with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Jianna Salinas with us here on WFO Radio. Her dad, Michael, and she, both on WFO in the first year. How about that? In the same year, I should say, with their first win. Pretty cool. And watching that family go through the process, right? It's very interesting to see that drag racing is really hard. It's a very challenging sport, but she's right. Anyone can do it. And earlier this year, I did a national dragster column about age diversity and that we have it. And nobody else does. I can't think of too many other places that a 70-year-old John Force type can strap into a car that's like his super suit and go up against a Blake Alexander type. Where else do we have that? We don't. And it's true across drag racing, and that's what I love about it. Yes, there are sports, Lewis Hamilton, Formula One, you have to be razor's edge, physical fitness, all of that, football, wide receiver. You can't be a 48-year-old wide receiver because you've lost 2 steps and it's over and you have to leave. Drag racing, you don't. You don't have to leave. The things that you learn, you can still be good at for your whole life, for a long time. Maybe eventually you slow down, you get a little savvy. Who knows? But I think it's a positive aspect of the sport of NHRA drag racing. Thank you, Gianna, for coming on the show. Happy Thanksgiving to all the listeners. And click subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, WFO Radio. And we are doing the show through the winter break. Big thanks to samtech.edu, Total Seal Piston Rings, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, MagicDryUS.com, and Marvin Rodak for getting it all together. Appreciate all our sponsors. And don't forget, this week, Blockbusters, Jack Beckman, Steve Torrance, Jed Coughlin, Alan Reinhardt, giving his season breakdown. It's all in the WFO archive. Do not miss anything. It's probably Thanksgiving Day. You're bored already. You've got the tryptophan and the turkey is working on you. Listen to a little WFO and keep going. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
WFO! The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
I love WFO Radio.
Oh, yeah.
You're working in the shop, you've got spills, you've spilled oil, it's everywhere. What are you going to do? I know what you're going to do, but that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to go to magicdryus.com and order the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association, Magic Dry. It's lighter, it absorbs more, it's better for the environment. It's made out of coconut. It's made in America. magicdryus.com. They've got spill kits that include everything you need for a regular, normal household spill, all the way up to a large industrial spill. We always say, if you've got a cat, get Cat Spot. If you've got a shop, if you've got a factory, if you've got a spill, call Magic Dry. That's magicdryus.com. Attention adrenaline junkies, Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure is calling you. Rides available for the 2020 season. Go to frankhawley.com. They're coming to a track near you. It makes a great gift, and you know the holidays are coming, whether it be licensing for Super Comp, Super Gas, all the way up to Top Alcohol, they can do it. But if you're a drag racing fan and you've always imagined what it might be like to drive a dragster, to accelerate 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and run 10s in the quarter mile, give them a call. 866-480-7223, frankhawley.com, The Dragster Adventure, and tell them you heard it on WFO. Hey, engine builders, Total Seal piston rings are the leader in ring seal technology, and they go out of their way to help their customers and will make custom sets for any specific piston you might have. Customer service, top notch. Made in America? Absolutely. They're located in Phoenix, Arizona, and they've got everything it takes to develop the world's best piston rings. Give them a call at 800-874-2753 or go to TotalSeal.com.
This is Sean from Traverse City, Michigan. You ever get done with an episode of Ignition or Nitro and say, man, that's a good job. I'd like to give them a pat on the back and a cold beer. Well, with Patreon, you can. So send that drink down to Gio and Joe.
This is WFO Radio.